As we age, we often find that our bodies and minds shift in ways we don't expect. Our once energetic, vibrant selves are now met with the reality of physical limitations, achy joints, tired muscles, and a general slowing down of the processes that kept us moving effortlessly in our younger years. Yet, amid these changes, there often arises a beautiful paradox. While our bodies may grow more constrained, our intellectual curiosity can grow exponentially. We may find ourselves more eager to learn, explore, and experience new things, but the world around us, particularly in terms of technology, evolves at a pace that seems foreign to us. The growing technological divide. In this fast-paced world, it is not uncommon for older adults to feel disconnected or left behind. The devices that once seemed like novelties are now ubiquitous, and the younger generation uses them with an ease that can sometimes be frustrating for those who have not been trained in their use. Terms like streaming, apps, cloud storage, and social media have become part of everyday language for many young people. But for those who did not grow up with these technologies, the vocabulary can feel alien and intimidating. When a senior person asks a simple question about how something works, "What does that button do?" or "How does this device connect to the internet?" the answers they receive can be more dismissive than informative. The younger generation, accustomed to the fast pace of technological development, may see these questions as naive or out of place, often reacting with sarcasm or impatience. In this digital age, it's easy for young people to forget that their elders didn't have access to the same resources, and that many of these questions are driven by genuine curiosity and a desire to connect, not ignorance or incompetence. The frustration that often arises from these misunderstandings can make older individuals feel insignificant or dismissed, as though their need for understanding is unimportant in the grand scheme of things. The emotional weight of dismissal. The emotional impact of these interactions cannot be underestimated. For many older adults, the reality of growing older is already accompanied by a sense of vulnerability. The physical changes, like aching joints or failing eyesight, may already make them feel as though they are losing touch with their former selves. When their curiosity is met with condescension or ridicule from younger people, it can deepen feelings of inadequacy. Imagine living a full life, raising children, contributing to society, and building a career, only to feel belittled when you ask a simple question about how to use a modern technology. These experiences are more than just uncomfortable. They carry a deep emotional sting. To be dismissed in such a way can make older adults feel irrelevant, as though their wisdom and experience no longer hold value in a world that seems to be advancing without them. This sense of disconnection is further compounded by the rapid pace at which the world is changing. From the advancements in technology to shifts in cultural norms, it can feel as though the ground beneath us is constantly shifting. The once familiar world is being replaced by something new, and for those who have lived through decades of societal change, it can be overwhelming to see how quickly things are moving. This feeling of being left behind can affect an individual's self-esteem and overall sense of identity. The questions that we once felt comfortable asking without hesitation now seem like an invitation to judgment or ridicule. This leads many older individuals to either retreat into silence or adopt a defensive posture, trying to navigate this new world without exposing themselves to further embarrassment. The root of the issue: the need for connection and respect. At the heart of these misunderstandings lies a fundamental need that transcends age: the need for respect and connection. No matter our age, we all seek validation for our experiences, intelligence, and curiosity. For older individuals, the desire to remain connected to the younger generation is not just about keeping up with trends or technologies, but about maintaining a sense of relevance and purpose. The simple act of asking questions can be a way of reaching out, of trying to connect with others and remain engaged with the world around us. But when those questions are met with sarcasm or dismissive responses, it can create a barrier between the generations, one that is difficult to break down. The frustration that arises from these interactions is not rooted solely in a lack of understanding about new technologies, but in the deeper feeling that, despite all of our life experiences and accomplishments, we are still valued less than those who are younger and seemingly more adept at navigating this rapidly changing world. This feeling can be particularly acute when the response to our curiosity is not just a lack of explanation, but an outright rejection of our attempts to connect. The younger generation may not always recognize the emotional weight that their dismissive attitudes carry, but for those on the receiving end, the consequences are deeply felt. The wisdom of emotional intelligence, navigating the divide. So how can we bridge this generational divide and continue to satisfy our curiosity without feeling belittled or rejected? The answer lies in emotional intelligence and self-awareness. As we age, we have the opportunity to cultivate a deeper sense of emotional intelligence, a skill that is not always honed in younger years, but is essential for maintaining healthy relationships across generations. Emotional intelligence involves the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, as well as the emotions of others. It also includes the capacity for empathy and the ability to approach difficult situations with a sense of calm and perspective. When we encounter dismissive or sarcastic responses to our questions, it's essential to manage our emotions in a way that preserves our dignity and keeps the conversation open. Instead of reacting with frustration or embarrassment, we can approach the situation with kindness and tact. By reframing our approach, we can create an environment in which the younger generation feels respected and appreciated, rather than criticized or challenged. A more effective approach: compliments and open dialogue. One way to approach this generational divide is by offering genuine compliments or expressions of admiration. Rather than asking direct questions that might be met with irritation, we can make statements that acknowledge the skills or knowledge of the younger person. For example, instead of saying, "What is that device and how does it work?" we might say, "I'm amazed at how quickly you can find answers to anything these days. Technology has come so far." This simple compliment not only recognizes the younger person's skills, but also opens the door for a more natural exchange of information. It becomes less about asking for an answer and more about sharing admiration and respect for the world they are navigating. By framing our curiosity in a way that emphasizes respect and admiration, we shift the dynamic from one of judgment to one of mutual understanding. This approach can foster more open and positive interactions. The younger generation, feeling seen and appreciated, is more likely to respond with generosity and a willingness to share their knowledge. Instead of feeling like they are being quizzed or criticized, they will feel like they are contributing to a meaningful conversation, and they may offer answers with a sense of pride and joy rather than irritation. The power of connection across generations. In the end, the goal is not just to satisfy our curiosity, but to maintain our dignity and foster meaningful connections. Curiosity is a beautiful thing. It keeps us engaged with the world and allows us to continue learning and growing, even in our later years. But the way we express that curiosity can make all the difference in how we are received by others. By approaching the younger generation with kindness, humility, and respect, we can bridge the technological divide and continue to engage with the world in a way that honors both our experiences and their knowledge. This approach benefits not only older individuals, but the younger generation as well. By fostering an environment of mutual respect and understanding, we create opportunities for deeper connections that transcend the barriers of age, experience, and technology. We remind the younger generation that our lives are filled with wisdom and resilience, and that despite the challenges of aging, we are still active participants in the world around us. Ultimately, it's not just about technology or information. It's about connection, building bridges between generations, sharing knowledge, and maintaining a sense of respect for one another. In doing so, we create a richer, more inclusive world where both young and old can learn from each other and grow together. the claiming of success and the denial of failure. When someone with an arrogant disposition achieves success, they are quick to take full credit for it. This need for recognition is not simply a desire to be acknowledged, but a desperate attempt to validate their sense of self. For such individuals, success becomes a reflection of their supposed greatness, reinforcing the very persona they have created. They may relish in the applause, the compliments, and the accolades, using them as fuel to further build their fragile self-image. However, when faced with failure or setbacks, the situation changes dramatically. The arrogant individual's response to failure is often not one of acceptance or reflection, but of blame. Rather than taking responsibility for their actions, they deflect, making excuses and pointing fingers at external factors that were beyond their control. "It wasn't my fault," they say. "If only circumstances had been different, I would have succeeded." These reactions stem from a profound inability to confront their own fallibility and shortcomings. Admitting mistakes would mean confronting their deepest insecurities, something they are often unwilling to do. This inability to accept failure or responsibility is inextricably linked to the fragile nature of their self-esteem. The fear of being seen as weak or inadequate is so overwhelming that the thought of admitting fault is intolerable. Instead, they hold on to the illusion of control, the belief that they are somehow above reproach. Bragging, a subtle display of insecurity. One of the more insidious forms of arrogance is bragging. On the surface, boasting may appear harmless or even charming, but beneath it lies a deep need to prove one's worth. Bragging, whether subtle or overt, is a way for individuals to elevate their own status and gain admiration from others. It's a form of self-promotion designed to draw attention to one's accomplishments, wealth, status, or abilities. Take, for example, someone who hosts a lavish dinner party. At first glance, it might seem like a kind gesture of hospitality. However, for some, the intent behind such an event may be less about generosity and more about showcasing their wealth, influence, or taste. The more extravagant the party, the more it becomes a platform for the host to elevate their own image. By doing so, they seek validation, hoping that others will admire them for what they have achieved or accumulated. In these instances, the act of inviting someone to dinner becomes less about fostering genuine connection and more about proving one's social standing. While these acts may seem innocuous at first, they are often an indication of deeper insecurities. The more an individual resorts to this type of behavior, the more transparent their need for external validation becomes. In truth, the louder they boast, the more they reveal about their fragility. Arrogance, in this sense, is a performance, a desperate attempt to cover up the cracks in their self-esteem. The disillusionment of bragging. As we grow older and gain more life experience, we begin to see through the thin veneer of arrogance. What once may have been perceived as confidence now appears as a hollow display designed to mask inner fragility. We come to realize that true confidence is not about boasting or self-promotion. It is rooted in humility and authenticity. The more someone brags, the more their insecurities are laid bare for all to see. True confidence does not need to be flaunted or exaggerated. It is quiet and unassuming. It does not rely on the praise of others or the recognition of achievements. Instead, genuine confidence is grounded in self-assurance, knowing that one's value is not dependent on external validation. When we mature and move away from the need to impress others, we come to understand that kindness, generosity, and humility are the true markers of strength. When we invite someone to dinner, for instance, we should do so because we genuinely want to share a meal with them, not to gain recognition or admiration. Giving without expectation of praise is a far more powerful gesture than any boastful proclamation could ever be. This is the essence of true confidence: humility without the need for recognition. The pitfalls of arrogant language. How it erodes self-esteem. It is easy to slip into the habit of using arrogant language, particularly in a world that often rewards outward displays of success and achievement. We are constantly surrounded by messages that celebrate wealth, power, and status. As a result, many people feel pressured to use boastful language to prove their worth to others. Yet, the more we speak in terms of arrogance, the more we risk revealing how fragile our sense of self truly is. Arrogant words and boasts are often a defense mechanism, a way to bolster our self-esteem in the face of doubt. But in truth, these words only serve to diminish our value in the eyes of others. They create an illusion of strength, when in reality, they expose a profound vulnerability. Bragging and arrogant speech come from a place of fear, not strength. And the more we indulge in such language, the more we expose our own weaknesses. True self-esteem does not need to be defended with arrogant words or protected by excuses. It does not need to be bolstered by constantly proving ourselves to others. Instead, self-esteem grows stronger when we are honest with ourselves, when we acknowledge our mistakes and take responsibility for our actions. The more we practice humility and authenticity, the more we nurture our sense of self-worth. Humility over arrogance. The mark of true strength. As we mature and gain wisdom, we begin to understand that humility is far more valuable than arrogance. Humility does not require validation, recognition, or applause. It is grounded in a quiet confidence that knows its worth without needing to shout it from the rooftops. Humility is a strength that allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, without the need for self-promotion or displays of superiority. When we stop relying on arrogant language or boasting, we allow our true selves to shine through. We no longer need to prove our worth to others because we already know it. And when we embrace this truth, we are free to live more authentic and fulfilling lives. Our actions, not our words, become the true testament to our character. Arrogance may offer temporary relief from insecurity, but it is a shallow and unsustainable solution. True confidence and self-worth are built on a foundation of humility, honesty, and self-acceptance. When we stop trying to impress others with our accomplishments or mask our insecurities with arrogance, we create space for genuine connection and growth. And that, ultimately, is where true strength lies. Health issues and emotional impact. The toll of aging. As we grow older, the physical changes we undergo are often accompanied by a shift in how we view ourselves and our place in the world. For many elderly individuals, there's a deep connection between how they perceive their health and how they feel about their own identity. Aches and pains that were once temporary inconveniences might now feel more like permanent burdens. The elderly may begin to associate themselves more with their health problems than with their experiences or accomplishments. Chronic conditions like arthritis, diabetes, or high blood pressure often define not just our physical state but also our emotional world. The regularity of doctor appointments, medical tests, and prescriptions may become a routine that overshadows all other aspects of life. For some, this continuous focus on health problems can create a cycle of negativity. The more we talk about our ailments, the more they become a central part of our identity. We might start to view ourselves through the lens of our illness, seeing ourselves primarily as patients rather than vibrant individuals with rich histories, talents, and interests. This shift in perspective can be damaging, not only to our self-image but also to our relationships. If all we talk about is our health, we risk alienating those around us who may tire of the constant focus on illness. What started as a valid concern about our well-being can slowly morph into an all-consuming conversation that reduces our sense of self to a series of diagnoses and prescriptions. The social and psychological impact of constant complaining. Frequent complaining about one's health may seem like a natural outlet for frustrations, but it often leads to feelings of isolation and helplessness. When conversations consistently revolve around illness, it can feel as though there is nothing else of value left to discuss. This can create a barrier between the elderly individual and their peers, who may feel that their conversations have little room for anything else. Over time, these repeated complaints can diminish the quality of social interactions, leading to a sense of emotional isolation. Rather than offering companionship and connection, the constant mention of health issues can create an emotional distance that makes it harder to form or maintain meaningful relationships. Moreover, the act of focusing on ailments can intensify feelings of helplessness. Constantly talking about health problems can lead to an internalization of those ailments, creating a mindset that sees the body as a vessel only for sickness and decay. This perspective can cause the elderly person to feel disempowered, as if they are not in control of their lives or destinies. Their identity becomes tethered to their diseases, and their potential for personal growth, joy, and fulfillment becomes constrained by their physical limitations. In this way, the focus on illness doesn't just affect the body, it can erode the spirit as well. The emotional burden of negative thinking. Negative thinking about health can be emotionally taxing, leading to depression, anxiety, and a diminished sense of self-worth. When one continually focuses on what is wrong with their body, it can lead to a cascade of negative thoughts. If we're constantly focused on our pain or medical conditions, we may begin to feel as if we are nothing more than our illnesses. This can fuel a sense of despair, as we begin to see ourselves as no longer capable of enjoying life or experiencing pleasure. The belief that we are defined by our health issues can lead to a mental state where we are unable to appreciate the positives in life. As the years go by, the emotional weight of illness can increase. It's not uncommon for older adults to experience feelings of frustration, sadness, or even anger when they feel that their body is failing them. However, this mindset does not serve us. While it is important to acknowledge and address health problems, it is equally essential to focus on maintaining a positive outlook. Our mental health is closely linked to our physical well-being, and by prioritizing emotional resilience, we can mitigate some of the adverse effects of aging. The goal is not to deny the reality of health struggles, but to embrace a mindset that encourages hope, acceptance, and a belief in our ability to navigate these challenges with grace. Shifting the narrative. Health beyond illness. Instead of defining our existence by our ailments, we should work toward cultivating a broader perspective on life that allows us to appreciate the many aspects of our being that go beyond health. One way to do this is by consciously choosing to focus on the aspects of life that bring us joy and fulfillment, even in the face of illness. For example, it might be easy to overlook the pleasures of daily life when we're preoccupied with physical discomfort, but there are countless small moments to celebrate. The beauty of a sunny day, the joy of spending time with loved ones, the satisfaction of learning something new. These are all experiences that enrich our lives and provide us with a sense of purpose. Choosing to focus on these positive aspects of life can help to counterbalance the negative impact of physical ailments. Furthermore, by changing the narrative around health, we can begin to redefine our identities. Rather than seeing ourselves solely as patients or victims of our bodies, we can embrace the idea that we are resilient individuals who continue to evolve and adapt. This shift in perspective is empowering. It allows us to take control of our experience of aging and health, focusing not on what is lost, but on what is still possible. When we acknowledge our illnesses but choose not to let them define us, we create space for growth and happiness. The power of gratitude and positive thinking. One of the most powerful tools we can employ to navigate the challenges of aging and illness is gratitude. By cultivating an attitude of gratitude, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we still have. Gratitude allows us to appreciate our bodies for the incredible work they do, even when they're not perfect. Rather than fixating on the limitations of aging, we can celebrate the wisdom, experience, and resilience that come with a long life. Gratitude also fosters a deeper connection with others, as we are more likely to express appreciation for those who care for us and those with whom we share our journey. In addition to gratitude, practicing positive thinking can have a profound effect on our mental and emotional well-being. Positive thinking doesn't mean denying the reality of illness. It simply means choosing to focus on what is within our control and approaching challenges with an open heart. It's about cultivating a mindset that sees possibilities rather than obstacles, and opportunities rather than limitations. Positive thinking has been shown to reduce stress, improve immune function, and increase overall life satisfaction, all of which contribute to better health outcomes. The role of relationships in health and well-being. As we age, our relationships play a crucial role in our overall well-being. Strong, supportive relationships with family, friends, and community members can provide a source of comfort, encouragement, and emotional nourishment. However, the dynamics of these relationships can be affected by how much we focus on our health issues. If we allow our ailments to dominate our interactions, we may inadvertently create a sense of distance between ourselves and those we care about. In order to maintain meaningful connections, it is essential to share more than just our health struggles. Conversations should include our joys, achievements, and the things that bring us happiness, not just our complaints. By engaging in activities that promote bonding and positive experiences, we can strengthen our relationships and create lasting memories that are not centered on illness. Whether it's through shared hobbies, family gatherings, or simply enjoying a quiet moment together, these experiences enrich our lives and provide us with a sense of purpose. It is through these connections that we find support and strength, reminding us that we are not defined by our health issues but by the love and care we share with others. Embracing the aging process. A call for positivity and balance. In conclusion, while health issues are an inevitable part of the aging process, they do not have to define who we are. The way we approach our health, the way we talk about it, and the way we integrate it into our lives can either enhance or detract from our overall quality of life. Complaining constantly about illness may provide temporary relief, but it also reinforces negative thinking and emotional isolation. Instead, we can choose to embrace a more positive, balanced approach to aging by focusing on the aspects of life that bring us joy, cultivating gratitude, and fostering meaningful relationships. By doing so, we can navigate the challenges of aging with grace, resilience, and a sense of purpose, allowing us to live our lives to the fullest, despite the inevitable changes that come with time.